Hey tribe, what's up? Welcome to Sunday, another Sunday coffee talk. I almost forgot, by the way. But before we get started, remember Sundays is a time where we have the Super Thanks Spotlight. That's where you leave your Super Thanks, you leave a question inside of Super Thanks, and that's what is discussed on every Sunday. That's what really the Sundays, the core Sundays will be about. But anyway, I just wanted to jump on here because it's kind of getting, I'm in Thailand time, so it's about 5 p.m. on Sunday. So it's about 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, East Coast in the United States. This has been a really hectic week. So I honestly, Sunday kind of really snuck up on me. And I was kind of sitting here thinking like, I don't know if I'm going to do a video or not, because nothing was really coming to me. And I wasn't really in the mood, so I thought, I would jump on, let everybody know what's going on. And this week has been, at least for Aang, I'm kind of affected too, but one of the reasons why, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why we came up to Surin and I think we've been up here since February, and now it is October. So I was thinking we'll be up for like 3 months, and fast forward like 7 or 8 months. My golly, I'm still here. But anyway, it wasn't the only reason we were coming up, but it ended out kind of actually. It's funny how, when I think about this, it's kind of funny how the intuition works. It's funny how your gut feelings work. When you have a gut feeling to do something, sometimes you fully don't understand why you're doing something. You understand. You ever have those moments where you kind of following your gut, following your intuition, but the reason why I bring this up is because the reason why I thought I came up to Surin has kind of been changing. Like when we first came up to Surin in February, I just broke my lease at La Casita in Hua Hin because things, they just kind of kept on doing things they shouldn't be doing. And it was just kind of crossing my non-negotiables and stuff like that. So it was kind of time to call it quits. So I ended my lease there early. And it was kind of actually my idea in the beginning to come up here to Surin for a few months. But I thought, it's kind of way more quiet. Focus on work on myself, and they'll give Aang time to spend more with her dad, but she hasn't really been home for years, and at least any like amount of time, rather than coming home for a holiday for a few days and going back to Bangkok or something like that. That was kind of like what I was thinking. But when we came up here, things had kind of been shifting because her dad wasn't in that great of a health when we came up here. Like he wasn't, I don't know everything that's wrong, just because it gets translated to me in Thai. Sometimes they translate it wrong. and but her dad used to be an alcoholic. So now he's basically a recovering alcoholic. He doesn't drink anymore. But just from being an alcoholic on Thai whiskey, especially white Thai whiskey, it pretty much messes you up, messes up your liver and kidneys and everything else. So he has major health issues just from being an alcoholic. And before we came up here, he I don't know how to say this. He wasn't just, he really just wasn't taking responsibility for his life, responsibility for the house, and just letting his health deteriorate. He wasn't taking his medicine. He wasn't eating. If Aang or her sister sent up money, he would just buy cigarettes with it and stuff like that, cigarettes and coffee. And that's kind of what you kind of sense, like in a Thai village. When you kind of come up in a Thai village, you kind of, a lot of people are alcoholics. And even though sometimes you want to help, but lots of times when you're here and you see it with your own eyeballs, sometimes it can get hard to help too, because I'll be honest with you, it's just transparent because you see it with your own eyeballs. Like the most important to most people in the village is coffee, Thai whiskey, cigarettes, and gambling. Those are the four things. And what I mean is, when those are the four major things, those are the most important. These are the most important than sending their kids to school, or giving their kids money to be able to go to school. It's more important over here. You get me on that. And gambling's a huge one too. Like they're have 1,000 baht saved to pay their like electric bill, but they'll use that 1,000 baht to gamble. Now they can't pay their electric bill. Then they kind of want you to help them out. But it's like, since I kind of been up here, I kind of been trying my best to teach people just way more responsibility. Like, people aren't going to just save you when you're just constantly doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? And I apologize for that. Sound like Alex and Mosey. Been listening to him a lot. Alex and Layla. So, and again, I'm just being transparent, but anyway, I'm kind of going down the rabbit hole with this, but kind of going back to my intuition, like, is her dad wasn't really taking responsibility for his health. So since we've been up here, I mean, Aang's doing most of it, but making sure he's taking the medicine every single day. And he has to go to the doctor every single month, taking him to do that, making sure he's going shopping, because they get kind of, in Thailand, they call it something different. They kind of get like a social security, but they don't call it that, of course. Making sure he's getting his money, making sure he's buying stuff with it. It's not going to waste, because some of this stuff like won't just sit there. Like, you have to use it every month. If you don't use it, it doesn't compound. You understand? So there's been lots of times where in the past he's not using it, and it's just, you get me on that? Like, it's gone. You know what I mean? And that's basically free money for him to go buy food and stuff like that. So anyway, like, since we've been up here, like, his health totally turned around, because he was taking his medicine, eating 2, 3, 4 times a day, because we buy all the food and stuff like that. But this past week, he didn't really get a really, really good health report, going to the doctor. And it's kind of a rabbit hole to go down. I don't know if I really want to go down that rabbit hole here on this coffee talk. I will explain what's going on a different video. But that's where I kind of said in the video where things haven't really been properly communicated to me. Because I was kind of under the impression that he had liver issues, but it's not the liver, it's the kidneys. So he's kind of on how they call it, like, level 4 kind of kidney failure type of thing. So it's kind of been a stressful week with that. And that kind of made me think this week too. It's kind of funny that, I'm kind of thinking I'm just coming up here to work on Chad. You get me? Maybe more of a selfish thing, but at the same time, Aang said something very unique to me this week, and I was just listening to her, because the day that she took her dad to the hospital, it was very emotional for her, because like in Thailand, like, if you're poor, you don't get the best care. And I have to be careful what I say, because it's YouTube. And there's a huge separation between Thai locals who are poor and Thai locals who are middle class and even wealthy. There's a huge separation. I mean, the classism is real here, and it really goes down to healthcare, medical care here in Thailand. They don't get the same care if you're considered poor. So they wanted to basically take him up to Surin City, the big hospital, and either do like some type of kidney surgery or clean the kidneys. But like everybody, this is what I learned, like everybody in the village is literally the locals, especially elderly locals. they're literally scared to death to go to the hospital. Because like when you go, especially poor, it's not the greatest care. How Anne kind of explained it to me is it's like she called it like a testing hospital. It's like, Chad, that's where people in medical school, that's where they go to kind of learn how to do everything. They work on poor people. It's not funny. That's just how she said it to me. You know what I mean? And so she's like, if they make mistakes, it causes giant issues. I mean, like sometimes a surgery that should only last an hour lasts 5 hours. But the surgery lasts so long, it causes major complications. And lots of times, you just don't come home from the hospital, just to kind of put it politely. So anyway, like he's scared to death. He don't want to go. And it's his choice if he wants to go or not, because he's thinking like, when I go, I'm not going to come home. And right now it's kind of weird for him because he's like, I feel fine. I feel healthy, and I don't want to go because everybody in the village, every time they go, they don't come back. Or if they come back, honestly, they're only alive for a couple weeks and they pass away. So he don't want to go. And so it's kind of really emotional for Aang. And Aang kind of told me, to kind of get to the point here, Aang kind of told me, she was kind of venting, she was kind of crying a little bit. Like, she's like, you know what, if it wasn't for you, it was your idea to come up here. And I haven't spent, since we've been up here, I haven't spent this much time with my dad, like for years. Like since she was probably like 14, 15 years old, because in Thailand, they kind of, you have to understand Thai culture. They kind of leave home, they go to Bangkok and work, and sometimes their parents will be, they're kind of separated. So she said, like, if it wasn't for you, like you're the one that had the idea to come here, I wouldn't have been spending all this time with my dad. You know what I mean? And what, like, I don't share it too much on YouTube. I'll start making more videos about it. But what most people don't know about me, I used to work in a medical field. the many trades of the Chad. Okay, I worked in a medical field for 8 years. And when I got my undergrad in business and dietetics, which is nutrition. And I ran down the rabbit hole in nutrition for a lot. I mean, I used to be raw vegan. I was raw vegan for 3 years. And I mean raw vegan. I don't mean an unhealthy raw vegan. I don't mean a junk food vegan or a junk food vegetarian. Sometimes people like to call it. I mean, I was actually raw vegan, baby. I know a lot about health. And that's what kind of led me, like probably a decade ago, more than that. I wrote a book on lymphoma, which is a blood cancer, because my dad had blood cancer. So then finally I sat down and said, okay, what's really going on? What's wrong? Because first you tell me he has liver problems, now you tell me you have kidney problems. And she's like, well, I just translate it wrong. It's really the kidneys. So I said, okay, your dad don't want to go to the hospital, but he has to change his diet like this, like super, super fast. And oh, that's fine. Ang's plugging in her phone. And so since I know a lot about health and nutrition and stuff like that, and her dad don't want to go, so I said, your only choice is you gotta change your diet. You gotta change it quick. I mean, you don't have time to fuck around. You have time to mess around. Okay, especially if you're in stage 4, level 4. And it's kind of a double duty with Thailand, because Thailand is so flippin' hot on top of it. I mean, it's so easy to get dehydrated. And her dad hardly drinks any water. And it's kind of like you almost have to treat him like a baby. He won't do it unless you take it to him. So like this whole week has been, I got out my structured water machine, because I had it in my condo, so I can start making structured water for him. That helps to increase the hydrogen in the water. And so every couple hours, I take him a 12 ounce glass of water. So he's at least drinking about 60 ounces a day. And so he's been doing that for the last, this is like the 3rd day. But again, it's kind of comes back down to this responsibility thing. It's sometimes it can frustrate me because it's, well, when we talk about manifesting success, it's about taking personal responsibility. But on it, he just has done. You know what I mean? He's 71. He is who he is. He's not going to change. So my golly, I told Aang, I'm going to just take him the water. He's going to drink it. You know what I mean? That's what I've been doing. He's been drinking it. But I just have to bring it to him. So today was like the street market. Today was Sunday. So we went to the street market, bought like a bunch of veggies, bunch of fruit. So he has something healthy to snack on. And yeah, so we kind of been, that's kind of why when I woke up this morning, had my coffee, my mind wasn't really there for the Sunday coffee talk. And except for right now, because I kind of had the intuition to kind of jump on and do it and kind of keep you guys up to date what's going on. But it's kind of funny how, like I said, like, and I didn't know really how this chat was really going to go until I turned on the camera, and how our intuition leads us to kind of do what we do. You know what I mean? And I've been in situations like this before where it's like I'm like in a situation because I have like amazing health knowledge, and it's funny how I'll be put in a situation where someone needs the advice. You know what I mean? And since I'm here, it's like I can't communicate the advice with her dad. And on top of it, her dad's not going to do it and follow it because he's like a 2-year-old. You know what I mean? I hate to be rude, but it's just how it is. There's no responsibility there. And so, I told Aang, well, Aang cooks for him anyway since we've been up here. But I said, we'll make everything. And you just going to have to make it and give it to him and have him eat it. And I'll do the water thing. I literally have to about 4 to 5 times a day. I gotta go give him a glass of water, and I mean a glass. Like I fill that sucker all the way up. I mean it's at least minimum 12 ounces each glass, and make sure he's drinking water so we can start flushing the kidneys out because that's your body's filtering system. And when he's drinking no water at all, plus it's Thailand with the heat, his kidneys are already overworking, and you're making it worse by not giving it what it needs to kind of flush out the toxins out of your system. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of, then I was kind of thinking, I know I'm kind of rambling, maybe saying the same thing over and over and over, but it's just kind of funny how life shifts in different directions for you sometimes. And, sometimes like what I said in the beginning, sometimes like the reason why I thought I was coming up here, yes, I was working on myself. Yes, I was focusing on business. Yes, I was doing that. But on the opposite side too, it's kind of like you're in the right place at the right time to help somebody in need. I think that's what I was trying to say. And it's funny how kind of life puts me in the right places at the right time to help somebody. You know what I mean? And it's not about money help. You know what I mean? Yes, like I pay for everything here. Yes, I buy for all the food here and stuff like that. But it's also knowledge. You know what I mean? And just knowledge about health and stuff like that, how to do it. And so yeah, I just want to kind of share that with everybody. That's kind of what's been my week. It's been a good week. It's been a great week, but that's what's been kind of going on. A little bit more emotional for Aang than me, just because I'm the boyfriend, but I'm here to help out and stuff like that. But anyway, just want to share that. Just want to pop on and not neglect you guys. And I'm still here. But anyway, I kept you guys long enough. It's been like 20 minutes. And remember, guys, I love you. We're all in this stuff together. We're just at different stages. You know what I mean? Everybody, when we talk about manifesting and success, we'll throw that in there, is we all have our own personal junk that we're going through. And we have to figure out what that personal junk is, because it's the personal junk that's actually holding us back. Sometimes it's old beliefs. Sometimes it's murmuring and complaining. Sometimes it's deeper than that. You know, sometimes it's like your dream life that you want is on the other side of fire, but you're right here in the beginning. And lots of times in the beginning, you're scared in the beginning, because once you get close to the fire, the heat gets to you. The heat scares you. You can't stand the heat and you run back to your comfort zone. Then you come back to it, but you get a little bit closer to the fire. Where you get a little bit closer, where the little speckles of, you know, how if wood's burning and stuff like that, if, you know, almost like you're burning paper and it floats through and it lands on you and burns you, gets a little bit heat. You get a little bit closer and that starts happening, but it scares you and you run back to your comfort zone. Remember, the comfort zone isn't your friend. Okay? The comfort zone is what's making you feel stuck. Because that's not the most successful version of you. The most successful version of you is not in your comfort zone. You have to understand this. Then you muster up the courage again. This time you withstand the heat. You withstand the little burning dust in the air, ash, the burning ash. That's the word I was looking for. This time you get a little bit closer. This time you get a little bit closer to the fire, and your fingers and toes start getting burnt. And it scares the shit out of you. And you run back to your comfort zone. Then you come back. This time you come back and you think, you know what? I'm ready for it. Okay, I'm gonna run through the fire. I can withstand the heat. I can withstand the burning ash. I can withstand my fingers and toes getting burnt. This time, you start going through the fire. You withstand all of it, but you're stuck right in the flipping middle. Your whole body's on fire. And that literally scares you to death. And you run back to your comfort zone. You don't withstand it. Then you muster up some courage again. And this time, you withstand the heat. You withstand the ash. You already know what's coming. You know your flipping fingers and toes are going to get burnt. And you know going into it, you know that, you know what, there is no running through the fire. I'm not an Olympic athlete or Olympic runner where I'm going to sprint through it. That doesn't happen. And you know that you're probably going to crawl through the fire. You know you're going to get right in the middle, and you're going to get stuck in the middle where your whole body's on fire. But this time you're ready for it. And this time you hang in there. No matter how long it's going to take, you're going to be in the fire, because you know on the other side of the fire is your dream life. You've been running back to your comfort zone many, many times. And you already know your dream life isn't in your comfort zone. Nobody's going to come and save you besides God. Okay? Other people aren't going to save you. Other people aren't going to make your dreams come true. It's going to be you. Okay? You figure this stuff out. And you figure the only way is for me to withstand the fire. But the fire, my friends, is just a metaphor of the gunk you have to go through, the gunk you're trying to figure out. Okay? Got a cramp in my leg. See, that's the fire. That's why you're stuck in the fire. That's why even for me, I'll get stuck in the fire, because it's refining you. It's refining you to that most successful version of you. And when you come through the fire and you actually step through it, you're stepping through it as the most successful version of you, who has what you want, who has your dream life. But you have to understand, it's refining you. That's why I said before I kind of went off on this story, is that we all have our own little personal junk that we're going through, okay? Or what's actually holding us back, why we're not getting what we want, why we're not living our dream life, why we're not living a life on our terms. But it's our responsibility to figure it out. That's our responsibility to figure out that missing piece, to figure out that missing puzzle piece. Because once we figure it out, we can fix it. But most of the time, what most people don't want to hear, the one way to fix it is you got to go through the fire. You can't run through it. It's more like a crawl. You crawling through it and you hit a brick wall that's on fire. And you just stay there chipping away at that fire, chipping away at that wall until you finally can walk through it. You understand? I'm trying to do a great metaphor for you here. Okay? That's the stuff people don't want to hear. You know what I mean? That's the truth. All right? You want to know the truth? That's the truth. That's the truth, baby. But anyway, tribe, let's rock and roll. Let's wrap this baby up. And remember, I love you guys. And I will see you next Sunday Coffee Talk. Peace out.